Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here, and today I am here with Battle Systems Core Space, a Sci-Fi Miniatures game. Now, Battle Systems has historically been known for their 3D terrain, their cardboard terrain, and I've been a fan of theirs for quite some time, as I have a set of their dungeon terrain. The dungeon terrain right now is out of print, and that's because they're getting ready to launch a second Kickstarter, I believe, for a new set of fantasy terrain. Core Space is Battle Systems' first game, the game that they have designed to be used with their sci-fi and cyberpunk terrain set. Now this game is, I'm just going to cut to the chase. This game is absolutely amazing. This is so far my favorite game of 2019, and it wasn't even really on my radar. When they announced the game, I was taking a look at it, but I was under the impression that it was just a 1v1, a two-player skirmish game, maybe something like like Space Hulk, something like that, where I like those games, but I rarely get them to the table because of their two-player limitation. I need it to be, a solo game or a co-op game where you could play more players. Well, the most awesome thing about Core Space is that it is all of those things and more. This game is easily soloable. It is co-op with up to probably 4 players on a map this size. It is also competitive, and it is semi-co-op. And what's really cool is it can be like all of those things without changing anything. And it can go in between most of those things organically during a single mission. This game feels like it feels less like a game constrained by a set of rules and more like a living, breathing system in which the players are interacting with each other, with themselves, and with the game itself. So let's back up and kind of give a broad overview of the game. So the game of Core Space, the tagline is salvage, trade, adapt, and survive. So in this game, you are playing as a crew of traders. And these guys are kind of like, think of them as kind of like space pirates, smugglers, people just trying to survive in a very deadly and harsh environment. And your crew, most of the crews start off with 3 or 4 members. You will have a captain and then a number of other crew members. But then throughout the course of the game, throughout the course of the campaign, you're going to be able to hire other crew members. You're going to be able to recruit civilians, possibly recruit these like cyberpunk gangers. You can recruit all these people to join your crew. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to go out on missions. You're trying to salvage. You're trying to get money to repair your ship, to upgrade your ship, to upgrade your crew, to buy new gear, to buy new weapons, all in the sense of becoming like the best crew of traders in the galaxy. All the while, you will be fighting against the Purge. The Purge are a group or a kind of a race of biomechanical beings, and they are controlled by the AI of the game. And their whole purpose in the lore of Core Space is to spread throughout the galaxy and destroy all biomass. So while the players are doing their thing, infiltrating these elaborate star bases and space stations and these like planet-side, these little cities and little pieces of just little outposts where humanity and these other alien beings are trying to survive while the players are moving around the board. The hostility of the sector is slowly rising. And as it gets more and more dangerous, more and more of these purge robots will be coming in with the sole goal of wiping out anything that lives. And so what might start off as a simple game where a simple mission where you are trying to get in, maybe get some loot and get out. You know, you might be competing to get the best loot against the other players. Pretty soon, the board's going to be overrun by enemies. The board can also start to be overrun by gang members. Now, these 4 gang members, they can come out as a gang, and they are also AI controlled, and they will be starting to attack you. In addition, you might have a security guards who they don't like the pirates, so they're going to be looking out for you. Then you have these corporations, they're going to be looking out for all kinds, for gangers and for traders and for the purge. And then you have a whole host of civilians who are just kind of like living their lives on these maps. And so you could start off a game with only 3 or 4 models on the map, and you can end a game with dozens of things on the map, all fighting each other. And your main goal is just to survive and get off and then finding loot, finding your mission objective, and just trying to live for another day. So there's so much to this game. It's kind of overwhelming, and it feels a little overwhelming when you're reading the rulebook. So I ordered the game from Battle Systems website. That's the only way it's available right now. They don't have any US distribution. They're a UK-based company. I ordered the retail version, and I ordered a couple small expansions. Unfortunately for them, very fortunate for me, they sent me a deluxe Kickstarter version. When I opened up my box, I had the Deluxe Rulebook, which you normally don't get. I had 4, I think, expanded crews of traders that the players could use. I had a ton more event cards. I had more purge. I had more of everything in my box. And I asked around and come to find out that, yes, I had received a Kickstarter version. So I feel very lucky that I got that. I would have been happy with the retail version because that's what I went in knowing that I was getting. But I am super happy to have mistakenly received a Kickstarter version. So the Deluxe Rulebook is quite large. It's about, I'd say about 140 pages. And it's laid out pretty well. I have a bunch of things here. I'm going to make my own little quick reference sheet for some rules that I know that I'm going to probably forget quite often. But it is a very well-produced rulebook. It's well organized. It goes through all the phases of a complete round very well. It has nice art, great layout. The one place where I think it falters a little bit is in the writing of the lore, of the fluff. It's not quite up to like Games Workshop standard when it comes to that. I wish it was, and I have a feeling that Battle Systems, as they grow and as their games division grows, they're probably going to get better at writing. But the rulebook is nice, and I am glad that I got this this hardback version. So let's take a look at a little bit of the components that you get with the game. And let's start with a crew member. So this is actually the captain. So every crew has to have a captain. Now these are in little dashboards. If I haven't mentioned it before, and I don't think I have, this is like the best produced game I've ever seen. I don't know of a game that comes close to this level of quality production. So the characters come on these sheets here, these little cards, and they are all made to be marked on with dry erase markers. So you're going to be keeping track of your stats. You're going to have a starting number of health, actions, skill points, and career points. And as these go up, you can keep track of your health down here. You can keep track of your skills down here. So this is how many times you can use your skills. And you're going to keep track of your ammunition. All guns begin the game with seven rounds. And as you shoot, you're going to be using some of those rounds to fill up the threat track, because as you're making more chaos, the purge are going to be more in tune to where you are and drawn to your position. Additionally, some of the characters are going to have innate abilities, such as he has a movement ability and kind of like a melee ability. And then he also has here an ability that gives him an automatic 1 die to be used for a melee attack. But this ability here can be removed, and you can put a point of armor here, or you can put a piece of armor here. So you do have to think about how you want your character to be, if you want him to have this innate ability or you want to remove that to put armor in. So the system in this game is very tight. The economy is super tight. This is a game where 1 or 2 points of armor can make a huge difference. You're not going to be dealing with hundreds of hit points. Most of the enemies can be killed with a single shot. They might have armor. The most health you're ever really going to have is 7. So the point values in this game are very small. And so you need to think in terms of 1 or 2 points being added to something is a huge deal. In addition to your character's stats and innate abilities, you're also going to have the ability to equip them with different gear. So as you're going through the map and the game, you're going to be finding these chests, and the loot is actually stored in the chest. So this was one I already pillaged here. So I put in my little starting pistol for something I had found. But the game is going to tell you to populate the chests with random gear. And you have a ton of gear. So here's like all the small, this whole bag is filled with all kinds of different small pieces of gear. You're going to have different weapons, axes, like space axes, melee weapons, swords, different kinds of guns, health packs. You're going to have credits that you can find, universal assets they're called, different kinds of ammo, different kinds of armor. There's all kinds of different items that you're going to find. Additionally, there are also rare and large items that you're going to find. So here are some of the rarer items. These are like super powerful things. Like I said, like I get points of armor, really powerful weapons, and all kinds of stuff. Super awesome, like street samurai Shadowrun style swords that can be thrown or used for melee attacks. And then you also have a whole bunch of regular large items. So I was really lucky in this first game that I played, where my captain, Captain Weaver, found a pretty awesome weapon. So the weapons, each of the weapons will have different stats, and most of the stats on guns have to do with their range. So for instance, this one lets me shoot at short, medium, and long range using 2, 3, and 2 dice respectively. And then it also has this little icon here. And that icon is an ability that allows me to continue to attack if I hit. So that's one place where the game does get a little complex, and that is in its use of iconography. And I get that why they did that, because they wanted to keep everything small, and so they want to put a lot of information in a small bit of space. And so all of your skills, your innate abilities, and your different skills based on the class that you've chosen. So I have Weaver as a hunter, and each class will have up to 7 different skills that they can use. So this is a soldier, and this is a hunter. There are, I think, 6 or 7 different classes that come with the base game, but then you can also buy blank class sheets and blank character sheets to create your own. So each one of these icons is a different skill, and the skills are all in the back of the book. And this is one of those games where every skill seems awesome, and when you're having to choose which one to upgrade and which ones to use, it becomes a super important decision, because you're like, oh, I want sure shot, but oh crap, reflexes is just as good. And so it's a really tough decision, and it creates I feel like as you level up your character and get more skills and raise their level, each skill can go up 3 levels. You're really going to be creating a build for these characters because of how different the skills really are and the different ways that you can use them. So back to my captain here. My captain has 4 points of skills. So each one of these pegs represents a time that he can use a skill during the mission. And when you start a new mission, they get the you refill how many skills your character has in that stat. Every time you survive a mission, regardless of if you win or not, you get to add a career point. And each different character has a different number of career points set in different rows. As you fill up a row, you're going to be able to boost a stat such as health or your skill. And each time you fill in a point of your career, you get to also fill in a point and level up one of your skills. So you're constantly, throughout the campaign, you're building up your characters, you're building up their skills, building up their stats, and you're building up the gear that they have, that they found. In addition to that, like I said, there's a ton, there's an absolute ton in this game. You also have your crew's ship. So I'm playing the crew of the Cygnus, and your ship has different stats, and you start the game with 3 of the boxes filled in, and after each mission, your ship will take damage because it's being used, or through use, wear and tear, normal wear and tear. So you're going to have to spend money, your assets, to repair your propulsion, life support, supplies, and hull integrity. Once you've repaired everything, once you've gotten everything in tip-top shape, then you can start leveling up these upgrades. So you get like scanners, defenses, and boosting abilities where you can actually, so when you play the game, you pick a side to land on, and then you load up your crew here, and that's where they can go through this airlock. Well, if you have these booster abilities upgraded, your ship during the game can move to different sides, so it can come and pick you up instead of you having to go to it. In case like one of the sides gets overrun with purge, you might be way over on the other side and you might want to get out. And so if you have upgraded your ship in that way, your ship can play a major and crucial role in the mission. So the way the game is played is actually for the complexity of the game and its moving parts, the game itself is not too difficult. There's a lot going on, a lot to remember, but I think after 1 or 2 plays, you should be pretty good with the game. So like I said, you begin each round by raising the threat, and as that gets higher, more enemies are going to start coming onto the board. And then at the beginning of each mission, you build a event deck. And this, you're going to draw an event card at the beginning of each turn. And these are going to do all kinds of different things. And this is one of my favorite things about the game. You guys know I love random events, where you're going to have things like space insects are infecting the place, and it changes the way that you have to play your turn. This is going to be a way that different NPCs are going to react depending on the threat level. You might find certain extra pieces of gear. So you're going to have all kinds of different events that are going to happen. And then in alternating player order, the players are going to activate one of their crew, and all the crews, I believe, start with 2 actions. So if you can take a move action, for 1 move action you can move up to 4 inches, for 2 move actions you can move up to 8. The most you can ever move is 11. So no matter what abilities or anything you have, the most you can ever move in a single turn, in a single activation, is 11 inches. So if your character was here and you wanted to see what was inside this crate, you would activate for a move action first. So you would move and you would get into base contact with whatever you want to interact with, and then you would spend a point of action to interact. And then you could open up this and you could see what was inside there. So you can spend a point of action to make an attack. And like I said, if you were to, so this is how the threat was laid out. The first time in a turn that a gunshot is fired, you take the point of ammo from the character who shot it and you raise the threat by 1. Only the first point of ammo. So every turn, the first point of ammo that you use is going to be put on the threat track. And it's really easy to keep track of because if there's a bullet there, you know it's already been done. So the next turn, you would put one of the black threat points there. So you can shoot at enemies, you can shoot at other players, you can attack civilians. So the civilians are going to be on the board, and each turn you're gonna roll the chance dice here, the chance die, and you're gonna do certain things. So they might, if you roll that, well, the NPC might want to trade with you. They might run and hide. They might try to attack you because you're a space pirate. If the threat is high enough, the NPC might be taken over by a live one. And that is a pretty powerful purge model that comes out and absolutely wreaks havoc on the traders. So you have your trader turn going alternating, then you're going to roll to see if any purge come on the map, and the purge are going to come on these entry points, and you're going to roll the purge die and to see how many will come on, 0 to 1 to 2. Then you're going to roll this one to see where they come, and they'll be coming on the board. And then you have the NPC phase where the civilians, the core, the security guards, and the gangs, they're all going to take a turn and they're all going to interact. And then just, yeah, all kinds of really cool things happen. And I want to get a little down closer so you guys can see, just see this terrain here. It is so cool. So all kinds of neat things happen during the game. And I was playing the other night, just playing solo. I haven't played with anybody else yet. I'm really looking forward to it. But I was playing where one of my characters had moved over here and they were going to search that crate to see what they could find. Well, there was a really bad roll where 2 purge came on the board and they came here and they were moving towards me. And they were about right, I think they were right inside this door here. So I opened up this crate and inside I found a grenade. To throw a grenade, it's an effortless action. So I immediately tossed the grenade from the crate in through this door and blew these guys up before they could get to me. And it was just so cool. It was so organic. It wasn't anything that I had planned on doing. It just, the game, the randomness of the game, the way that the certain elements all work together, and the way that the rules kind of allow you to, it's almost like role playing, because you can vault over things, you can pick up chairs and throw them, you can knock these tables over and to use for cover. The game even said you can take these lids from the crates and you can take them as an item and use them as a makeshift shield. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do. And not only is the stuff you can do mentioned in the rulebook, but it encourages you and the players to come up with new things that you can do. Because I think what they really want this game to be is kind of a DM-less space role-playing skirmish game where really the only thing that is holding you back is your imagination and how you want to play the game. There's so much freedom, but it doesn't feel like the freedom was placed in a lazy manner just because the designers couldn't come up with anything themselves. They came up with an amazing game with interesting missions, interesting characters, interesting set and design, but then they also gave the players a ton of freedom to utilize their rules in interesting ways. It's almost like it's almost like Battle Systems really respects the players. They know they're intelligent. They know that we're gonna, if we can grasp the rules, that we are given the freedom to use those rules to make this game exactly how we want it to be. So this is one of the larger Purge enemies. I haven't fought one of these guys yet. I think these guys are called the Devastators. No, the Devastators are the medium guys that I showed earlier. I think these guys are called the Annihilators. They have their own Purge board. And then you also have these spider guys, and they have a they will come out onto the board, and if there are any dead people on the board, they come out and they like take them away to harvest their body parts. And then so we have the blue, we have different NPCs here. We have the guards, we have the Corps, the Marine Corps, we have the gangers, and then all the different models for your crew. And the molds are nice, the sculpts are nice. You know, we're not talking like the best quality, but everything is good. That's the best I can say. There really isn't a part of this game that I think, oh man, if only they would have made this just a little bit better. I mean, even the box comes with, so here's like the mother spider robot thing. Even the box comes with this cardboard separator where you can keep all of your different map parts. I have all of the different crews here. There's a bunch of different crews. Yeah, the only thing it doesn't come with the dry erase markers, and it comes with 8 boards to use. So I do want to order another set because I want to play this game with 3. So I need to order another set of these player dashboards. But yeah, that is Core Space. Guys, this game is awesome. It generates so many cool little stories, scenarios. It really does. The games feel like you're playing a great sci-fi adventure. Something like the Stainless Steel Rat comes to mind when I was playing it, or like really cool old cyberpunk stuff. I know I'm not a huge fan of Firefly, but I know a lot of people who love Firefly say that this is the Firefly game that they've always wanted. And I am so stoked on this game. I've already got a pre-order in for a Shootout at Zed expansion. I have a little Purge expansion coming in that comes with some more terrain. I guess I should talk about the terrain real quick, since that's what they're known for. So the terrain, even though it's cardboard, it's very sturdy. So as you can see, it's pretty thick, and it doesn't really bend that much. It feels very good in your hands. It's hard to convey through camera, but if you were to hold these pieces, you would see how well made they are. The art is good. You've got doors that are, where did they go? So you can put windows in, so you can smash through glass. You can close doors. You can close hatches. You can dive through windows and openings. You can jump up and jump down there. With other terrain, you can build multiple level stations. So yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. I had no idea how I was going to do this review, just because it's so overwhelming. This game has, it's every time I pick up the book and I read about it and like I want to design a certain mission or I want to do something in the game, and every time I think about doing something, I say, oh yeah, you could totally do that with the rules and with the stuff that you can get. The possibilities seem endless. I really hope this game has a long future. I know they're trying to get some US distribution. Their shipping is not outrageous. The core game came to me, I think it was about $12 or $13, and it arrived in 5 days from the UK. So that's really not bad. I highly recommend this game, guys. If you like skirmish games, if you like narrative skirmish games where you're telling stories while you're playing, you're creating an entire world to live in, yeah, get Core Space. This game is awesome. And yeah, I think you're gonna be seeing a lot of this game from me. I need to pack it up so I can get some other games to the table to make more videos, but I really don't want to. I want this game set up all the time so where I can just come in and play a turn and play a mission. So I am greatly looking forward to getting my garage converted into a larger hobby room so I can have multiple tables set up, because this is a game that I want to build. I want to paint everything. I want to build like multiple levels. I want to build awesome things to interact with and just have this like ongoing mega game of Core Space. So all right, well, that's it. Thanks for listening to me ramble on and on about this. I hope I made some sense. But like I say, this is a hard game. It's a hard game to talk about because there's just so much. But all right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.